You know how I said that Warzone 2 might be in a little bit of trouble and could actually fail? Well, there are now rumors suggesting that changes are being made based on initial feedback from the COD Next live event when gameplay was revealed for the first time of Warzone 2. I'm sure you've heard the feedback. Things like looting was particularly clunky, menus popping up in the middle of the screen, people finding it more difficult to understand where their stored items were in their inventory, or like the AI being used more of like a filler across the map in all the different buildings than it was any sort of threat towards you and your squad. The removal of loadouts completely from the game mode and replacing them with custom weapons as part of buy stations. For a full list of all of that feedback, you can check out my complete Warzone 2 video that I did a week or so ago. But overnight, it sounds like there might have been some changes happening in the background after that event and hastily being made before the launch of Warzone 2 on November 16th that could be transforming the game mode and responding directly to the feedback that has been coming in since it was first shown off. Please do make sure you're subscribed to the channel, by the way, with notifications turned on, ding that bell. More Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 content will be coming on this channel over the next couple of weeks as we get closer to launch. Now, before I go ahead with this information, it's always worth noting that when we speak about rumors, we take them with a pinch of salt until something is officially revealed. We can't be 100% certain of what's actually going to happen, so just be aware of that when I'm talking about what we're going to talk about. Don't treat it as official. Nothing's been confirmed here. A cryptic tweet posted by Warzone content creator Metaphor last night is currently doing the rounds in the community. It's up on the screen right now, and they're using emojis to describe what's happening in a Warzone 2 update. So let's go through it. First one is a robot, a map, and a red cross, potentially referring to a removal of the AI bots from across the new Warzone map, Al Mazrah. This was one of my pieces of feedback from the COD Next gameplay event, that the new AI bots developed for Modern Warfare 2 were being used right across the new Warzone map, being placed on their own in almost every single building available, but not being any kind of a threat really at all. They would slowly turn around and look at you and would only take a couple of bullets to kill. The suggestion here is that that situation is being removed from Warzone 2. And if you guys have been watching my channel for the last week or so, you'll know my opinion about the AI in Modern Warfare 2 in the invasion mode. I didn't feel it was particularly smart. So I can imagine that's similar here for Warzone 2. The AI wasn't particularly challenging, and it didn't really feel like it had a place right across the map. There is one area where I think they did make sense, however, and that's actually being spoken about in the second line here. It shows again a robot, a castle, and a green tick next to it. This is referring to AI being used in the Strongholds in Warzone 2, an area where I think their inclusion does make absolute sense. Now, for those that don't know, Stronghold locations are areas of high-tier loot guarded by heavy AI soldier presence, and you need to kill off all of the AI defenders in order to complete the Stronghold. And of course, the added effect there is that all the gunfire that's going off, all the AI shooting, you trying to kill them, is probably going to attract another squad to come over and maybe get involved. So it's kind of like doing a contract, but it's not a contract. It's something slightly different. Rewards for completing the Stronghold includes that high-tier loot, but also tokens would be dropped that could be used at buy stations to purchase a custom loadout weapon for free, rather than paying the much higher price than what loadout drop markers currently cost in Warzone 1. All of the guns cost quite a lot of money, anywhere from about $8,000 to about $14,000 in-game, which is quite a lot. So AI defending Strongholds is something that had been rumoured in the past and reported on before we even knew anything about Warzone 2, or at least we'd seen gameplay of it. And that's how I think a lot of people assumed AI would be utilised in Warzone 2. They would be defending these Strongholds. That was until the COD Next event just showed them all across the map, just in random buildings. So hopefully, with this change, we're also going to see an improvement to the intelligence of the AI, something that will be important in determining the difficulty of actually taking a stronghold in Warzone 2. If the AI isn't presenting enough of a threat, then players will just lose interest in their inclusion very quickly, or people will drop on locations where they know a stronghold is going to be, and they'll try and get that token so they can buy their weapons back quicker. It won't have the same effect in gameplay. The harder the challenge and the bigger the prize, the more likely a team is going to try and take that stronghold. Now, the third line, it shows a box plus a pill. and many people are speculating that this could actually be the return of loadouts and perks to Warzone 2. Up until this point, Infinity Ward has messaged that perks would not be in Warzone 2 at the launch on November 16th, but they didn't offer really an explanation as to why. It could well be that because loadouts had been removed from Warzone 2 that there wasn't a way currently to offer perks as items in the game, or it could actually have been a conscious choice considering that in Warzone 1 on Caldera, Rebirth and Fortune's Keep, we've had lootable perks for a while now, so we know that system exists and they could put them in, so maybe it was a conscious choice. Regardless of the intention, the tweet from Metaphor is suggesting that loadouts and perks could be returning to Warzone 2. And notice how I say could be returning. There is no green tick next to this line. It might be something that the developers are currently considering, and maybe they've got a way to quickly implement these features if they decide they want them in for launch. It was one of the biggest pieces of feedback after the COD Next event, the removal of loadouts, and how that could potentially affect the game mode. And a lot of people felt like an iconic Warzone feature was being removed. Loadouts really set Warzone apart in 2020 when the game first launched. It gave players the opportunity to run custom weapons in a setup they were comfortable with. And that's something that no other BR had thought to offer at that point. And as far as I can tell, there's no other Battle Royales really pushing that system. It's like Warzone's unique selling point, apart from the fact that Warzone's free to play, but you understand what I'm trying to say. Removing them in Warzone 2, to me, it seemed like a strange decision, but it was something that was offset by the inclusion of the option to buy your custom weapons from the buy station. Still, if there is currently a discussion that's going on to bring loadouts back, then let me just say,
what are you waiting for? Do it!
And then the fourth line shows a present, a list, and a red cross, potentially referring to the looting system and the pop-up menus that were implemented being changed. It was one of my main issues with Warzone 2 when I played it at COD Next, the clunky looting system. Bringing up little menus in the middle of the screen and taking my view away from what's going on when you opened up a loot crate to take items, rather than just spilling the loot out onto the floor. And the implementation of a backpack system which felt really slow and clunky to use, even if it did have some upside benefits of massive gameplay changes where you could hold multiple items within different groups. The feedback that came in around the looting system was that it felt like a system that had been built for the new DMZ extraction mode, which is going to be part of Warzone 2, but it's not the Battle Royale mode. An extraction mode, it makes total sense having more granular looting, a backpack system to sort out what you're carrying, and a more detailed look at your items, because of course you want to focus on what you pick up and what you extract with and take out in your inventory so that maybe you can bring that stuff back in a different match. But having that in Warzone, which never used that system before, it just didn't seem right. If this is a change that they are making to bring back that more classic looting, that is something that I can get behind. Now, looking at the responses online to these rumored changes, it is quite mixed. I'm seeing a lot of people cheering that the AI is being focused on Strongholds, which I think is a good thing overall, and the looting being cleaned up somewhat. People seem quite happy about that. But where people are divided is the potential reintroduction of loadouts and perks. And this is something that I saw a lot of in the comments section of my Warzone 2 video last week. Some people liking that Warzone 2 was moving away from that massive power play of having loadouts and giving people their custom weapons easily, whilst others really did feel like a core feature of Warzone was being taken away. Now, personally, I was happy to move forward with weapons being in buy stations and loadouts disappearing. There's still a clear way for you to get your custom weapons, so it's not like it had changed too much. But I'm not going to complain if loadouts do return. I do think it's a feature that really made me connect with Warzone in the beginning in a way that I just didn't with other Battle Royales. But I want to know what you think about this potential change, so let me know what you think down below in the comments section. And I think it's going to be rather divided down there. Now, one other thing that we should discuss, again, this is a rumor that popped up last night, so take it with the same pinch of salt that you took for the Warzone 2 information. From the Twitter account, The Ghost of Hope, information is coming that Fortune's Keep and Rebirth Island are set to be removed from the original version of Warzone when Warzone 2 launches, and that will leave Caldera as the only map as part of a Warzone Pacific legacy game. And it also means that at the launch of Warzone 2 on November 16th, Al Mazrah will be the only map playable in Warzone 2. There will be no smaller Resurgent-style maps available for players who want that to get into. Now, personally, this does make me a bit sad because I've made some pretty great memories on those 2 smaller maps, and it will be sad to see them disappear. But I do also understand why Activision and Infinity Ward would make a decision like this, if it turns out to be true. It's obvious that Activision knows how popular Warzone is to them now, and having players split across 2 different versions of that, playing different experiences, isn't exactly ideal. They will want people downloading and playing Warzone 2. Likely putting their hands in their pockets at the same time, maybe buying some cosmetics or buying the full Modern Warfare 2 game so they can rank up all their guns in multiplayer. And the best way for them to achieve that outcome in the short term is to funnel players towards a new experience by limiting their access to the old one. And that means sacrificing their very popular Rebirth and Fortune's Keep maps. People will no doubt be upset about this, but again, it's a sign that Activision knows where their current audience is and what they need to do to get people playing the new experience. Again, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I'm expecting some disappointment there. But that's about it for today. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe, notifications turned on if you want more Warzone 2 and Modern Warfare 2 content, and drop a like if you enjoyed this video as well. I'll catch you soon.